Well, good afternoon. If you're just joining us, you're watching Sky News. As London is attacked once again, 2 weeks, of course, after the previous explosions. This time it appears on a much smaller scale. 3 tube trains and a bus targeted, but the explosions appear to have been only minor.
Well, the attacks took place at Warren Street, Oval and Shepherd's Bush underground stations and on the number 26 bus in Shoreditch in East London. Eyewitnesses to the attacks reported that the small explosions took place in rucksacks.
Well, Scotland Yard and indeed London Ambulance Service saying no reported casualties, although earlier there had been a report of perhaps one casualty at Warren Street tube station. The Prime Minister, who is in the Cobra meeting of all the main ministers involved, Sir Ian Blair too, the Metropolitan Police Commissioner, he's expected to make a statement, or in fact confirmation now, in 15 minutes' time at number 10. But
police have said they are not treating this alert on the same level as the July the 7th attacks, in which 56 people were killed. Live reports from the scenes of all the attacks in a moment. First, though, here's what the Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, Sir Ian Blair, had to say a short while ago.
We know that we have 4 explosions or attempts at explosions, and it's still pretty unclear as to what's happened. There's certainly a scene at the Oval underground station. There's a scene at Warren Street underground station. There's a scene at Shepherd's Bush, which is on the underground but is actually above ground. And there's a scene on a number 26 bus at Hackney near Columbia Road, which I think is in Bethnal Green. At the moment, the casualty numbers appear to be very low in the explosions. The bombs appear to be smaller than on the last occasion, but we don't know the implications of all this yet, and we're going to have to examine the scene very carefully. I've got a couple of messages that I really need to give, if I can. The first is, obviously the transport system is going to close down for a short while we work out what's happening, and it's very important that Londoners or people in London stay where they are. And the second announcement is we will make a further announcement around what the travel implications are, but what we don't want is lots of people going to railway stations or whatever. I mean, the trains, as far as I know, are still running, but it's just stay where you are, just go about your normal business. Again, the plan is there, you've seen it happen before, it's rehearsed, the emergency services are getting control over a very confused scene. Clearly this is a very serious incident, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going off to Cobra to meet with the Home Secretary and others to see where we go from here.
Sir Ian Blair, the Metropolitan Police Commissioner, of course, who's now in the Cobra meeting. Let's update you now with the picture live at Warren Street, at Scotland Yard and at the Oval. First to Martin Popplewell at Warren Street. And Martin, we had these reports of someone seen running away, perhaps 2 of armed police getting to University College Hospital, adding some perhaps explanation as to reports of gunfire being heard on the station platform.
Absolutely. I can't actually give you any more details about that, but what I can give you a bit of a picture of is we're actually on Euston Road here, and Warren Street Station is just down there, I suppose about a third of a mile, if that. In the last 20 minutes, the police have actually increased the size of the cordon. They moved it back about 20 minutes ago, about 150 foot in this direction, extending that area which they have cordoned off. The interesting point you mentioned there about the person or the police going to University College Hospital, armed police going to University College Hospital, that of course is literally about 2 or 3 minutes walk, if that, from Warren Street tube station. It's just literally across the road and around the corner from Warren Street tube. There is that suggestion and those reports that armed police officers have gone there. It's being suggested by some that this person threw in a rucksack into the tube at Warren Street, and
right.
that
Martin,
followed some popping sounds.
We're just getting confirmation from Scotland Yard. They have confirmed now that armed officers are deployed at what they call an incident, would you believe, at University College Hospital. A spokesman saying we have armed officers deployed there. We cannot go into any further detail at this stage. Reports of 3 armed officers seen going into the major incident unit there at the hospital just minutes before someone was carried from an ambulance into the unit at the stretcher. And we now have an internal memo passed to staff within the hospital, police asking staff to look out for a male, black, possibly Asian appearance, 6 foot 2 inches tall, with a blue top in a hole in the rear of the top with wires protruding from it. which is rather alarming. Obviously asked to phone 999, not to approach. This is an internal memo to staff at University College Hospital. A male, black, possibly Asian, 6 foot 2 inches tall, with a blue top, with a hole in the rear of that top, with wires protruding from it. And quite clearly that may explain, Martin, why University College Hospital is, as we understand, in lockdown at the moment.
Absolutely, and as I just mentioned a moment ago, it is very, very close to Warren Street Tube. It was, in fact, one of the hospitals where people who were injured in the attacks on London 2 weeks ago were taken. I used to live around this part of London. It is literally about 2-3 minutes walk, if that, from Warren Street Tube Station to University College Hospital. We have noticed a large number, obviously, of police vehicles going down, a couple of fire engines going down to Warren Street Tube. Interesting to note, absolutely no ambulance vehicles going down there, which would tend to back up the suggestion which we're getting so far that no one has been injured in this explosion and this incident on Warren Street Tube Station.
OK, Martin Popplewell at the junction of Warren Street. Thanks for that update.
Well, let's get the very latest now from Graham Leach, who's down at the Oval for us. And the picture we seem to be getting, Graham, is that rucksacks were involved. What are you hearing there?
Yes, that is the report that some people who emerged from the underground station at the Oval, or one or two people emerged from Kennington, that's one stop down the Northern Line, that's the impression they've been relaying to us, that there was some kind of alert emergency over a rucksack that was left. And then the station announcements were put out asking people to leave both stations. That's all we know at the moment about exactly what went on the tube train, except that the Commissioner of Police has said that officers have been down there, and so far at least there's been no hint or trace of any kind of chemical agent. Now, what's been happening here is that the police are here in large numbers, but what's not happening is the kind of medical emergency we saw 2 weeks ago. There have not been many ambulances here at all, and if you look behind me at the Oval Station, that's the entrance to the Oval Station, 100 yards down the road there, as you can see, there's no kind of emergency centre, medical centre being set up there. Initially, when the area was sealed off, 100 yards or so was sealed off around the station, there was traffic chaos here. But if we can now turn our camera over to the other side of the station, this main thoroughfare here has now been quickly opened. This is a road that links central London with the southern suburbs of London and then onto the south coast. It's a very, very busy road. It has now just been reopened, and these first vehicles are now coming through, so traffic is flowing more freely. But at the moment, officers are underground. Large numbers of detectives are here, and we await further information.
Graham Leach, thank you very much indeed, down at the Oval.
Let's just bring you some pictures now we're receiving of the activity in Warren Street as police search people in the area. Now, let's just confirm to you, Scotland Yard are saying that they are dealing with an incident at University College Hospital. Armed officers deployed there. This is near, of course, Warren Street Tube Station. A major incident there, they say. Reports someone had been seen running away, of course, from Warren Street Tube Station. And now we have been passed what we believe is an internal memo to staff at the hospital. Police have been asking staff to be on the lookout for a male, black, possibly Asian appearance, 6 foot 2 inches tall, with a blue top with a hole in the rear of that top with wires protruding from it. Staff at the hospital being told to phone 999. The incident linked to an incident at Warren Street. Martin Brunt, who's our crime correspondent, is at Scotland Yard as we look at these pictures. Martin, clearly this is something that we were getting reports of earlier. Scotland Yard now indicating they're treating this quite seriously.
Well, it sounds like they've got a suspected suicide bomber on the run, at least inside that hospital, and of course that's going to be of huge concern. The Commissioner earlier talked about 4 explosions or attempted explosions. I think the view has somewhat changed from inside the yard, and they think certainly at least the incident at Warren Street was probably a bomb in that rucksack, but the detonator has gone off, but it hasn't fired the bomb. And that would tie in with reports of a man running away and being pursued, and then this incident at nearby hospital. where armed police have gone in, and the description of that man they're looking for, who appears to be a suspected suicide bomber. So I think that's really where the focus is at the moment. We know that the Oval is becoming a clear scene. It's not clear what's happening at the other two scenes, but no reports of casualties. So I think a lot of intensive activity is going to remain around the hospital, where it looks as though they have a suspected suicide bomber on the run with his bomb. The detonator, we think, has gone. That man is perhaps trying to find a way of exploding his bomb, or he's trying to keep low, or he's just trying to get away from the whole scene.